I just had a myomectomy surgery, and the experience was far more intense than I expected. So today I'll be sharing the truth about it and my experience. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, you're very welcome. Today's video is a very personal one. So I'll be sharing my experience with myomectomy surgery, how I found out that I had fibroid, and my decision to go for surgery, getting it out, how I discovered that I had fibroids. How I discovered I have fibroid was my menstruation came out and it lasted longer than usual. So I was bleeding. It seemed normal. The flow was normal. Everything was normal, and it's extended to 1 week. So, and I became scared. Like, why would my period stay for 1 week? And in between, I still consoled myself. I said, okay, maybe I was just stressed. Maybe my hormones are just playing tricks on me. And I didn't really bother until it clocked 2 weeks. I bled for 2 weeks. That was when I became very concerned about the situation. And I was like, no, this is now abnormal. I need to go for scan. So I went for scan, I went for pelvic scan, I went for hormonal profile, and that was when I discovered that I had fibroid. Um, it was quite an emotional one for me because at that point I didn't really understand what was going on. I didn't really understand what could be the cause of fibroid. I didn't quite understand what step I would take right after that. So it was a very emotional one for me. You know, someone that is experiencing this for the first time. Yeah, all my life I've been hearing about fibroid, but I had never experienced it and I didn't know what it felt like. But for the first time, I'm getting to feel it. Something you're ignorant about. And for the first time, I'm getting to feel it and I didn't know what to do about it. The first step I took, immediately I found out that I had fibroid, was I went to a gynecologist to give them my test results, and a gynecologist went through my results, and then he gave me three types of treatment options, which I'll be listing here, of course. Number one treatment option was myomectomy. That is surgical process of fibroid removal. Number two process was the HIFU method, which is non-invasive removal of fibroid. So the last option given to me was GNRH. So I think you can research about it on your own. So these were the options given to me, and I went back home. I had to consult my loved ones, and we talked about it, made research about it, and I found out that the surgical method would be the best thing for me at that point, especially after consulting my gynecologist. So I was recommended to use the surgical method. Why I chose myectomy was because the GNRH method seemed more chaotic, or I haven't tried that, but from research and from reviews of other people that have gone through that method, I heard it affects the bone density. It could cause early menopausal signs. It has all like it has a lot of risks surrounding it. So we concluded that I wouldn't be using that method. So also, the reason I didn't use a HIFU method, which is non-invasive, was because I wasn't sure if after going through that, there wouldn't be any fibroid, like it will be properly dissolved. So I wasn't sure about that, and it is also a lot more expensive than surgical method. So at this point, surgical method was the last option that I had. So I went for myomectomy. Any fears before myomectomy? Of course, I had my fears. I had my fears because that's surgical method. Anything can go wrong. Anything can actually go wrong. So if you go through people's reviews from different hospitals, you're gonna hear stories like, "Oh, my womb was punctured." Of course, I had my fears. So, going through reviews on other people's experiences, some of the experiences were not funny, they were scary. So, I had my fears. I prayed a lot. I begged God a lot to give me a second chance so I could come out of this successfully. And I'm glad God answered my prayer. Yes, with the help of the doctors, my loved ones, my friends, and you know, family. Um, you know, they supported me emotionally and otherwise. So I'm very grateful and I don't take that for granted. Preparing for the surgery. Nothing much to do aside gathering my funds. Yeah, it is not cheap. It is not 1K. It is not 2K. It runs in millions. So it wasn't cheap. So I had to stop all the medications I was already taking prior to the surgery. And I bled for a very long time. I bled for months. Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys that. I bled for months. And I think I bled for maybe nearly 3 months. So I was taking different medications, but none of it was working. None of it could like permanently stop the bleeding. At a point, I had evening primrose, which was recommended to me by a doctor, and that helped a lot. That really helped a lot because I was going through a lot. Imagine bleeding back to back for months. It was quite challenging. I must say, it was quite challenging, and you know, I wouldn't call that being healthy. I wasn't healthy because there were little because it came with a lot of restrictions. I could no longer do hard stuff or stress myself so much because I tend to feel dizzy each time I did, and that's because I'm losing a lot of blood. I was losing a lot of blood. So that restricted me from a whole lot of stuff. I That was when I made up my mind that nah, I'm not gonna wait anymore. I had to go for that surgery. So, like I said, going for that surgery, all you need to do is just have your funds. And aftercare matters a lot. Aftercare matters a lot. No matter the hospital you're going to, aftercare matters a whole lot. What the surgery experience looked like. So, I was awake throughout the surgery. Yes, I was awake throughout the surgery, and that's because from my abdomen down to my feet was paralyzed. So I wasn't able to feel the pain, but I knew I was going through something at that point, but I couldn't feel the pain, so I could not react. So the pain comes right after the surgery. So it comes, I think I started feeling the pains 24 hours after the surgery because of course the first day, the first few hours, I still had maybe the anesthesia was still working, so I didn't feel pains. So I started feeling the pain 24 hours after the surgery, and few days after the surgery, the pain became severe. That was when it started reoccurring to me that I actually went through surgical process. Nobody prepared me for that pain. Nobody told me about that kind of pain. Nothing prepared me for that amount of pain. I went through that pain. It was a lot. Yes, I was being given pain relief medications. I was being given a lot of antibiotics. I mean, according to the doctor's prescription, right? But the pain is real. You would still feel every atom of that pain. So imagine, God, that was an experience. That was really an experience. So I just think the pain becomes intense 24 hours after the surgery, and few days after the surgery it just keeps increasing because that was how I felt. I don't know for other people, but that was my personal experience. The hardest part of it was few days after the surgery, struggling to leave the bed. Um, um, because at that point the catheter had been removed, so I needed to use the restroom to ease myself, clean up myself and all of that. So that was when I started feeling the pain. The pain was really, I don't know if I should use the word severe at that point. So that was the hardest part of it, trying to sit up. I couldn't sit erect. I couldn't stand erect either. So even till now that I'm making this video, I'm still bent. I still cannot completely stand erect. I'm still bent. So I think it will just last for a while and I'll go back to normal. I'm still healing and recovery takes time. So, but I'm just grateful generally to be alive. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I went through all of this with no complications, and I'm thankful to God and everyone that supported me throughout this journey. And if you're someone that is going through this, just know that you're not alone. You'll be fine. Just look for any solution that is best, you think that is best for you, and just get it out and you'll be fine. Just know that our body is stronger than we can ever imagine. So I wish you all the best, and I'll be keeping you guys updated with this whole processes, the healing and everything, because this video doesn't end here. I still have a lot more to talk about, but I can't like put everything in just one video. So guys, see you guys in my next video. And if you find this video interesting or you know someone that might need to watch this video, kindly share, like, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much guys. See you guys on my next video. Bye.